Most women think goodbye is the end of the moment. It's not. It's actually the moment he decides whether he'll think about you all night or forget you in 5 minutes. And if you know how to handle that last 30 seconds, you can make him crave seeing you again. This isn't about being dramatic. It's about one small move that makes you unforgettable. Imagine this. You've had an amazing time together. Maybe you laughed. Maybe you shared a deep moment. Maybe it was casual. But when you're about to say goodbye, instead of rushing it, you stop. You lock eyes just a little longer than normal. You smile in that way that says, "I know something you don't," and you let your energy linger. That pause is magnetic. It makes him play the moment in his head again and again. It's not the words you say, it's how you make him feel in those last few seconds that stays with him. That's the difference between being just another person he met and being the one he can't stop thinking about. If you want to know exactly how to master moments like this and create that lasting pull without trying too hard, keep watching, because this next part will change the way you say goodbye forever. Before you turn away, before you close that part of your story, there's one powerful thing you can do that changes everything. This isn't about tricks or games. It's about real human psychology. It's about leaving a mark on someone's heart that can never be erased. Have you ever thought about why some people come into your life, leave, and yet somehow they stay in your thoughts forever, while others just disappear? That isn't by chance, it's human science. And today I'll show you how to make yourself unforgettable. Most people say goodbye the wrong way. They beg, they explain, they overdo it, and instead of making a deep impact, they end up making themselves easy to let go of. But there's another way. A small, psychology-backed goodbye technique that connects straight to the emotional memory part of the brain. If you do this one thing, he won't just think about you tonight. He'll think about you next week, next month, maybe even years from now. In the next few minutes, I'll share exactly what to say, what to do, and how to leave in a way that stamps you in his memory forever. This isn't manipulation. This is simply knowing how emotions work and letting them work in your favor. Stay with me, because once you understand this, he will never forget you. Goodbyes are not just words. They're emotional breaking points. They're moments when the brain starts working overtime, trying to process what it's about to lose. And here's the real truth. Most people don't realize that when you leave, he feels it far deeper than he shows. Men are often taught to hide how they feel, to stay strong, to appear calm. But inside, something very real is happening. Inside, something very real is happening. His brain releases stress chemicals like cortisol and adrenaline, making the separation sharper, more vivid, more unforgettable. In that very moment, his mind locks onto you, replaying every little interaction, every word, every touch, trying to hold on to it before it slips away. But here's where it gets truly interesting. The emotional memory you leave behind isn't about how long you've been together. It's shaped by the last moment he has with you. The human brain clings to peak emotional moments. That means if your goodbye is messy, desperate, or filled with tears, the memory becomes heavy and painful, something his mind wants to run away from. But if your goodbye is calm, strong, and surprising, you trigger the opposite response. You create contrast, and contrast makes you unforgettable. He starts asking himself questions he can't answer. Why didn't she fight to stay? Why did she leave with such grace? Does she already know her value? That curiosity pulls him deeper into thought, and thought turns into longing. The more he wonders, the more space you take up in his mind. Think about it. When someone walks away with confidence, without chaos or begging, they plant a seed of mystery. That seed grows into regret, and regret turns into memory. And memories, especially emotional ones, have a way of looping like a song stuck in your head. Most people think that being remembered means holding on tighter, but the truth is, it's often the calm, controlled goodbye that cuts the deepest. Humans are built to want what feels rare, what feels out of reach. And when you are the one who walked away without falling apart, you create scarcity. Scarcity makes you valuable, so if you ever thought he wouldn't care when you leave, think again. Goodbyes are powerful triggers, more powerful than most realize, and if you do it the right way, you won't just leave, you'll leave a mark he can't erase. Now let's go deeper into something many never understand: the emotional triggers that make you unforgettable. When you know how to spark the right emotions at the right moments, you never have to chase anyone, they chase you. Because attraction is not just about looks, and not even just about chemistry. At its root, attraction is about emotional impact. It's about how you make someone feel when they're with you, and even more when they're not. The human brain holds on to emotional peaks, those rare times when feelings rise high, when something touches us deep inside. If you can create those moments on purpose, you become someone his mind cannot let go of. One of the strongest triggers is uncertainty. Most people think giving non-stop attention makes someone stay, but often the opposite is true. When you pull back just a little, when you leave some mystery, his brain starts filling in the blanks. He wonders what you're doing, where you are, and why you aren't chasing him. That wondering builds curiosity, and curiosity grows into obsession. Another powerful trigger is contrast. People remember moments that break patterns. If everyone else in his life reacts in predictable ways, but you respond differently, calm when he expects chaos, strength when he expects weakness, grace when he expects tears, you stand out. That difference stamps you in his memory because you don't fit what his mind expects. There's also emotional anchoring, where you tie strong emotions directly to you. If while you're together, you spark happiness, excitement, or even bittersweet nostalgia, his brain attaches those feelings to you. And when you walk away, he doesn't just miss you, he misses how you made him feel. Here's the hidden truth. People don't obsess over others only because of what they see. They obsess because of how someone made them feel alive, wanted, understood. If you can stir up emotions through mystery, contrast, or unforgettable moments, you bypass logic and go straight into the part of the brain that forms lasting attachments. That's why some goodbyes hit harder than others. It's not the goodbye itself that lingers, it's the emotional energy behind it. When you learn to spark the right feelings, you become irresistible, not because you try harder, but because his mind simply won't release you. And soon I'll reveal one powerful sentence you can say before leaving. A sentence that will sink so deep into his thoughts that he'll replay it again and again, unable to shake it off. Missing someone isn't only emotional, it's chemical. When someone leaves our daily life, the brain doesn't just let go, it fights to keep holding on. That's because the human brain wants emotional stability. When you suddenly step out of his world, you disrupt the rhythm he has built around you. That disruption leaves a gap, and the brain hates gaps. It wants to fill them. At first, he may try to distract himself, scrolling endlessly, cutting out with friends, acting like nothing's wrong. But inside, his brain is still reaching for the piece that's missing. You, but underneath that calm surface, something powerful is happening inside him. His dopamine levels start to fall. Dopamine, often called the brain's want chemical, is linked to reward and anticipation. When you were close to him, he was getting steady emotional highs from your presence, your attention, your energy. When you're gone, his brain still looks for those same highs, but they're missing. That emptiness becomes longing. Here's the fascinating part. The mind begins replaying the most emotional memories again and again. Every laugh, every deep talk, every little habit you shared gets stored inside his hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory. And the stronger the emotions tied to those moments, the stickier those memories become. That's why a single night together, one meaningful goodbye, or even a simple touch can stay with someone for years. Then comes the paradox of scarcity. Humans always put more value on what feels rare, what feels just out of reach. When you're not available anymore, your worth rises in his subconscious, not because you've suddenly changed, but because his access to you is gone. That distance triggers the brain's reward prediction error system, making him obsess even more about what he no longer has. And this is where many people go wrong. They try to make someone miss them by over-texting, over-explaining, or begging for attention. But that doesn't create longing, it backfires. The brain can't miss what it still has easy access to. If you want him to truly feel your absence, you need to allow space. Space builds curiosity. Curiosity creates emotional tension, and that tension forces his brain to keep searching for answers, for reasons, for you. This is why missing someone isn't really about how much time you've spent together. It's about the gap left behind. The right goodbye, calm, steady, confident, creates a void that his mind can't ignore. And soon, I'll share one single line you can say at the right time. A line so powerful that once spoken, his thoughts will keep circling back to you. Even if he tries to move on, he won't be able to. Sometimes just one sentence can stay inside a person's mind long after you're gone. It echoes, repeats, and keeps them wondering what you really meant. Words carry power, especially when they leave room for imagination. And when you understand psychology, you can choose a sentence so sharp that it lingers in his thoughts endlessly after you leave. Here it is. I hope one day you'll understand what you just lost. It's short, calm, controlled, but deeply impactful. This line works because it doesn't beg, it doesn't accuse, and it doesn't explain. Instead, it sparks curiosity and emotional tension, two of the strongest psychological triggers in relationships. The second those words leave your lips, his mind scrambles for meaning. What did I lose? How much did she really mean? Did I just make the biggest mistake? That questioning turns into rumination. Rumination grows into obsession, because the human brain is wired to want closure. And with this one sentence, you refuse to give it. You don't add explanations, you don't justify yourself. You don't argue, you simply walk away. And in doing that, you force his thoughts to work overtime, filling in the blanks. The harder his brain works to understand, the deeper the emotional mark becomes. The secret lies in how you deliver it. You don't cry, you don't raise your voice, you don't beg for attention. You say it gently, almost like you didn't mean for him to even hear it, and then you leave. That quiet confidence shifts how he sees you. More grounded, more certain, more valuable than he realized before. And here's the hidden magic. You flip the emotional balance. Right now, he thinks you're the one carrying the loss. But when you deliver that sentence with calm certainty, you plant a seed of doubt inside him. Doubt grows into reflection. Reflection becomes regret. And regret is the one feeling he can't escape from. The best part? You don't have to force him to think about you. His own brain will do all the work. That one sentence becomes an echo, a quiet reminder of what he had, what he thought he understood, and what he slowly realizes he may never find again. And now let's talk about the mistakes most people make before saying goodbye. Mistakes that weaken your impact, lower your value, and make it easier for him to let go. Once you understand these, you'll know exactly what not to do if you want to be unforgettable. Before you leave, before you speak that final goodbye, there are a few mistakes you must avoid. These don't just weaken your effect, they make it simple for him to move on. The first mistake is begging for reassurance. In emotional moments, it's natural to crave answers, to ask why, to push him to explain, to plead for him to recognize your worth. But here's the hard truth. The moment you beg, you lose your power. Instead of leaving mystery, you hand him certainty. And certainty destroys curiosity. The less you explain, the more he thinks about you. The second mistake is letting anger take control of your goodbye. Explosive emotions might feel satisfying for a few seconds, but they leave behind a heavy negative stamp. If your last memory together is full of shouting, blame, or harsh words, his brain connects you to stress, and human instinct is to avoid stress. Calmness, on the other hand, leaves unfinished business. And unfinished business is what lingers. The third mistake is oversharing your feelings. You might believe that pouring your heart out will make him finally understand, but the truth is it makes you predictable, and predictability lowers emotional effect. A short, contained goodbye builds curiosity, and curiosity is what keeps him replaying you in his mind. The fourth mistake is trying to spark jealousy. Many think showing they've moved on instantly will trigger regret, but forced jealousy rarely works. If it's obvious you're doing it just for a reaction, it looks like desperation, not strength. True strength is shown in silence, not performance. Now, the fifth mistake is losing control of your energy. Crying endlessly, clinging, or refusing to leave gives him exactly what he subconsciously wants: emotional release. It signals that he has complete power over you. But when you walk away with dignity, composure, and quiet certainty, you leave him unsettled. That unease grows into doubt. That doubt grows into curiosity. And curiosity eventually becomes longing. Remember this: your final goodbye is like a snapshot his mind will replay again and again. If you leave it messy, painful, and chaotic, his brain will naturally try to erase it. But if you leave with grace, strength, and control, it becomes unforgettable. Soon, I'll guide you through a step-by-step goodbye formula, a proven psychological approach to make sure you leave the deepest impression possible, one he won't be able to escape, no matter how much time passes. Regret isn't random, it's created, it's triggered. If you want him to regret losing you, you can't make it happen through desperate calls, endless texts, or emotional breakdowns. Regret only appears when someone finally understands the real value of what they've lost, and that awareness comes only when you create the right emotional environment. The first step is silence. It's one of the strongest tools you hold. When you vanish from his life, when you stop chasing, explaining, texting, or begging, you create space. And that space makes him uneasy because suddenly he feels the absence of your energy, your care, your presence. The human mind naturally wants what it can no longer easily reach. By stepping back, you allow him to feel the emptiness you left behind. The second step is self-growth. While he imagines you stuck and hurting, you focus quietly on becoming the best version of yourself. Physically, mentally, emotionally. You put your time into your happiness, your dreams, your passions. When he notices you rising without him, it causes a mental shift. His thoughts move from "I lost her" to "I may never find someone like her again." That is where regret begins to grow. The third step is calm control. Breakups are usually full of drama. People expect tears, fights, and chaos. But when you stay composed, calm, and graceful, you break that pattern. Since your reaction doesn't match what he expected, it stays in his memory. You become the one who didn't fall apart, the one who left with strength intact. The fourth step is true scarcity. Stop offering him emotional access. No late-night texts, no daily updates, no desperate moves to prove yourself. The less reachable you are, the more valuable you become in his subconscious. Scarcity creates desire, and desire is what regret feeds on. Finally, the most important step: let time work in your favor. Regret doesn't usually strike instantly. At first, he may feel free, but as days turn to weeks and weeks to months, those quiet moments catch him. He remembers the small details, the little things he overlooked, the comfort he thought would always be there. And when he realizes they are gone, regret sinks in, heavy and real. This is not about playing games. It's about turning the focus back to yourself and letting your actions speak louder than your emotions. Because when you reclaim your strength, when you walk away with quiet dignity, you stop chasing him. And that is exactly when he begins chasing you. In the next part, I'll share a step-by-step goodbye method, a tested way to create an emotional memory so strong that he keeps thinking of you long after you've left. Saying goodbye is one of the most powerful points in any relationship. It's the final image his mind will hold of you. And if you do it right, it becomes a memory he can't let go of. This method isn't about tricks, it's about leaving with dignity, mystery, and power, so your presence keeps echoing even after you're gone. Step 1. Master your energy. Before saying a single word, ground yourself. Breathe deeply. Release the anger, the sadness, the neediness. If your energy feels unstable, he'll feel relief when you leave. But if your energy is calm and steady, you leave him unsettled. His mind is ready for tears and fights, and when that doesn't come, it throws him off balance. That imbalance keeps you in his thoughts. Step 2. Keep your words short. Less is more. The more you explain, defend, or justify, the easier it is for him to close the book on you. Keep it brief, thoughtful, and controlled. Say only what matters. No over-explaining. No endless emotional talks. Mystery builds memory. Step 3. Use the key line. Remember the sentence from earlier, I hope one day you'll understand what you just lost. Say it softly, without anger or sadness. This simple line sparks deep curiosity and regret because it carries meaning without full detail. His mind replays it again and again, trying to decode it. Step 4. Walk away with grace. The way you leave matters as much as your words. No pausing, no turning back, no checking his face for reaction. Walk away with quiet confidence. That silence says more than words ever could. It signals strength. It whispers to his subconscious, she's not dependent on me, she knows her value. That kind of energy leaves a mark. Step 5. Vanish with dignity. This is where most fail. They give a strong goodbye but then keep texting, calling, or checking in. That ruins the effect. You must stay silent no matter how difficult it feels. Space makes the mind crave. Distance creates longing. Longing grows into obsession. By following these steps, your goodbye becomes more than words. It becomes a mental trigger. Every time he thinks of you, he'll recall how strong you stood, how you didn't collapse. And that single line he can't erase. Now let's move to the last tips. The final lessons to ensure when you leave behind something unforgettable. A memory planted so deeply that he'll never truly stop thinking of you. You've come this far and now you know the secret. Being unforgettable isn't about begging, chasing, or proving your value. It's about the way you carry yourself, the vibe you leave behind, and the emotions you stir even when you're not there. If you want to create a mark that lasts, here are the closing tips to tie everything together. First, silence is your hidden strength. After saying goodbye, resist every urge to check in, to explain, to ask for answers. The more distance you hold, the louder your absence will feel. When he can't reach you, his thoughts keep racing, replaying old moments, questioning choices, and wondering if he made a mistake. Second, live as if you're already free. Put your focus on yourself, your growth, your passions, your joy. Confidence attracts, and nothing sparks regret stronger than seeing you shine without him. The more you rise, the more his mind connects your glow to the moment he let you slip away. Third, shape the emotional story you leave behind. People won't remember each word, but they will always recall the feeling you left in their final moments with you. If you walk away calm, firm, and graceful, you become rare in his mind, someone of true value, someone not easily replaced. That emotional difference, strength when weakness was expected, makes you unforgettable. Fourth, never fight for someone who isn't choosing to fight for you. The more you push someone to stay, the easier it becomes for them to walk away. But when you respect yourself enough to leave with quiet dignity, you shift the power back to yourself. It shows strength, self-respect, and emotional freedom, qualities that naturally bring out admiration and, yes, even regret. And finally, trust the timing. Missing someone doesn't happen right away. Regret doesn't appear the second you walk out. It grows slowly, piece by piece. Silence falls in, and reality sinks deeper. Weeks later, months later, it will hit him when he's not ready for it. A song, a familiar place, a simple memory, something will pull him back to thoughts of you. And when that moment comes, he won't only remember you, he'll remember how you made him feel. You don't need to chase. You don't need to prove yourself. You just need to become the one who can't be replaced. And when you walk away with calm power, elegance, and mystery, you won't just leave. You'll leave behind a story he will keep replaying again and again. Because being unforgettable isn't about holding tighter. It's about knowing the right moment to release and letting your absence speak louder than your voice ever could.